in the past. Aha moments. I love when that brain just goes, you know. So who can share something that you got out of Kurt or Nishaka's presentation? Who'd like to kind of wing in there and tell us something that you jotted down that you feel was really good to hear today? All right, open chat. Just the audience participation portion. Yes, back there.
Yes. I definitely appreciated the presentation about looking at situations that you're in as potential peaks instead of valleys, because I feel like that's certainly where I am, and I also realize that I'm in a great place of opportunity right now, being without employment and with options open and that kind of thing. So I really appreciated it. That was part of an encouragement to me to start making that valley into a peak, whatever my perception of it is. So
looking at that glass,
yeah.
The infamous half empty, half full glass, and finally grasping it. Very good. Thank you for sharing. Any others? I saw some potential hands kind of doing that. Yes.
I think what Nishaka was talking about, the 5 beliefs, repeating this every day. I think that's because I'm in a position right now where there's something that I want to do, and I'm really to stay focused on it. To make that happen means I have to get rid of all these other distractions and stop looking at those and just do this.
Somebody referred to it also as stinking thinking, like get rid of that stuff, get rid of that information. Don't they have cool friends?
Yes.
Don't they have cool friends? I love my cool friends. Which Toastmaster I go to? Yay, I get to plug Toastmasters again. It's toastmasters.org if you want to find any Toastmaster club in the entire world. But I go to Triad Toastmasters. We meet every Wednesday at noon, so you know I've been having Toastmaster withdrawal because I haven't been to my club in 7 weeks now, but they love me. They're a really cool group, and we have some fantastic people. But again, Toastmasters I always encourage because it is about communications and leadership, and that program just does wonderfully for both, regardless of who you are and why you're doing it for. It doesn't matter. You want to change the subject?
I want to keep my Toastmasters for a minute. Is that okay?
Give me one second. Anybody else? I'll come back to you. And I'll fill you in more on Toastmasters, but definitely, yes.
I like the fact that he pointed out we have a tendency to be given presentations from, say, for example, your employer's 401k administrator, and they focus on the selling point of why you should invest in this one thing. And he pointed out that although you're invested in the one thing, you may have another area here in your finances that was not cleaning up that junk drawer because you're overall taking a loss rather than making a gain. And so his perspective is to try to get it all organized together to make sure that you're actually getting a return and not having a return here and a loss here that makes it balance out to zero. So
Yeah, absolutely. There's concepts, there's many opinions, as Kurt mentioned. Everybody can have an opinion, but it's the one that makes the most sense to you, obviously, that looks like it's, again, going to be mutually profitable for you and your family, that you have to grasp on. And so sometimes it does take 7 different ways by 7 different people, 7 different times to finally get it, isn't it? So hopefully this is the 7th one. And we all got it. And from here, you can move forward and make some great decisions that will help you and your family and all your friends and just feel more in control and less stressed. Because one of the things about Kurt that I've known and Nishaka, they're the least stressed people I've met. They have the more reason to be stressed, but they don't look at it that way. Again, that half full glass, they're just seeing everything as blessings rather than a curse. Okay, so that's very important. Any others? One more? I'll take. I really want one more. Okay, we'll be silent then and have a moment of quiet. No. What I would like to do now is someone can press the button on that camera and follow me around because I'm a mover. Where's Martha? Where'd she go? Martha!
She's gone.
She's gone. All right, yeah. Just hit the red button and follow me along.
All right. Oh, here's Mark. You want to do it?
That's called volunteering. She got it.
It's turned on.
Okay.
Oh, is it on?
Is it recording?
Yeah, it's recording.
If you have an editor, he'll make sure he takes out all that stuff. But I get an opportunity to share with you kind of one of my favorite movies. Sounds kind of weird, right? Why is he going to talk about a movie? One of my favorite movies is actually a movie called 300. Anybody ever seen that one with the gladiators and all kinds of guys love that movie. Ladies, it's called 300. It is a fictional exaggeration of an actual event historically that happened with a bunch of soldiers from Troy who had unsurmountable odds put against them. 300 of the best soldiers in this army had to defend against 10,000 of the Persians that were attacking. And the end, of course, was an inspirational, glorious death. That was the end of the movie. But what was interesting is there was one scene in the movie that I thoroughly enjoyed. And it was a scene where Leonidas, who is the leader of these 300, the king of Troy, went ahead and got in front of a fork in the road as they see this decimation of the Persians destroying this amazing town. And they bump into about 5,000 of the other clan of warriors, which I'm failing to remember who they were now, but needless to say, 300, 5,000. Well, the leader of the 5,000 looked at this and said, I thought you guys were committed. I thought you guys were going to defend and help defend against the Persians. Well, Leonidas didn't even think twice. He kind of looked at him and just said, you over there, what's your profession? The guy answers, well, I'm a potter. You, what's your profession? He says, I'm a blacksmith. You, he said, I'm a leathersmith. He turned over to his 300 warriors and said, what is your profession? And you hear all resounding at the same time, hoo-ah, hoo-ah, just like our military does today. He looked back at the now not so proud leader. I think I have more soldiers than you do. What is your profession? That was my quandary 10 years ago. About prior to that, I had gone ahead and grown up in a very humble family. My dad, yellow taxi cab driver in New York City. My mom stayed at home pretty much for 13 years of her life, and then went back to work as a home attendant, which out here they call them like in-home nursing for the elderly. Never got through elementary school. Okay, they went right from family to family. So their model to us was just simply working hard, trying to make a living, keeping everyone smiling and happy despite what was going on in the background. When we had Frank and beans for dinner, it was a fun night. It was Frank and bean night. Or the government cheese on the hamburgers. Best cheese on the planet, by the way. But we didn't know that stuff was bad. Hand-me-downs with our clothing. It was just tradition. Handed down. It was honorable for my brother to get my pants. But they covered it up, what was going on in the background. My mom had one piece of advice as I was getting ready to go away to college, the first of the family to actually travel that unknown territory of life. She said, we can't tell you anymore. There is nothing I know about college, son. It's just, you need to just do what's right. The values that we taught you, the right and the wrong choices, we taught you all that stuff, but now you got to take this one and you're on your own. But one piece of advice she gave me was just simply find somebody who you like what they do. And as long as it's moral and ethical, go ahead and do it. Unfortunately, I didn't take that advice. I didn't. I decided to go ahead and pursue a master's degree in chemistry. Now, to some of you, you're saying, well, that sounds honorable. That sounds like a great profession. I'm like, no. You heard a couple of speakers say they just didn't like what they were doing, but they still did it anyway. That was me. I got my master's. I went quickly into the corporate world the second I got it. Had my first job as a technician in a filter company, manufacturing company. Lasted 6 months because I just didn't like what I was doing. Went ahead and found another company that I ended up staying for about 7 years, Domino Sugar Corporation. I was a sugar chemist. I know everything about that light stuff that you could ever want to know. And I moved up in that company to the point of being one of their directors of their quality control. Now, this was very great, but I hit a ceiling. You ever hit those ceilings in companies where you can't go any further than that ceiling, and it hurts. Now, luckily, my boss, who would have been the one I would replace, ended up being one of my best friends. To this day, we've been friends for about 20 years. And he showed me something that I didn't know about, which was entrepreneurism. He was one of those chemists that actually liked doing some side things that his boss didn't know. And he introduced me, out of all things, to the network marketing industry. Now, however you feel about it, that's not my point. But it was the first time I was exposed to entrepreneurism, to the network marketing industry, peddling, health products and stuff like that. I even did the cosmetics thing for a little bit. But I made extra money. To me, it was just making money. I like that concept. Because I got my paycheck from my job, and then I got this paycheck from another company, and it was all in my name. It was pretty cool. And as I continued to follow through in that industry, I did very well, according to the statistics. I was making a very handsome income, and still to this day do. I still receive a check every week from the same company I started with 10 years ago. So it's that concept of residual income. It just keeps coming in. And I was blessed. I never knew how blessed I was to receive that check, because then, like you heard Kurt talk about, I decided to leave that company after 7 years and move on to a brand new startup company. And this was in the nutraceutical industry. That industry is the one that supplies the raw materials for like all the vitamin companies that you guys probably buy vitamins from. GNC products, all that. But we had the drums of the powder that goes in there. And I was in charge of making sure that powder was not dirt, that it was actually product, and analyzing it, and making sure we'd be able to sell that product to the customers we were dealing with. Fantastic time. I was making a six-figure income off of that position. I had the house with the swimming pool, the brand new car, the wife. Everything was going great. Marriage failed, house gone, job fell apart, and now I was sitting in a one-bedroom apartment by myself in New Jersey, just 2 years later. No income. What would I do? Like many folks in this room, I was at a position where I just didn't know. All I knew was what I was taught. You get back your suit, adjust your tie, go to the interview. Try to find another job. I was in front of the mirror, adjusting that same tie, and I suddenly felt the whole world stop around me. You ever had that? Where suddenly it is as dead silent as you've had that, right? And I stopped adjusting my tie, and I looked in the mirror, and I just said, I can't do this anymore. 3 jobs in 10 years. This is crazy. I'm 30 years old. I can't run around in this circle anymore. So I held my breath, I pulled off my tie, dumped it into the trash can. As you know, I don't wear ties very easily, for those of you that have seen me say that a few times. And that was it. I changed my mind right there. I decided to finally listen to my mom. What was her advice? Find someone you like that does something you really like and do it with them. Follow them. Get mentored. And that was it. It was my leap of faith into the world of entrepreneurship. To create my own business, to have my own time, to jump into it, give it a name. I wasn't too creative. My first company was Guerrero, Inc. After that, it became a paradigmshift.com. Next company, aswebpros.com. Another company now just launched, a Paradigm Shift Enterprise. It's been wonderful. Today I have a wonderful wife. 3 beautiful children that I spend time with every day. I cannot look back. And I'm not saying saying I'm a millionaire like my friend Kurt over there. But it's not about the money. That's what you heard Kurt say and the Shaka say. It's not about the money. It's about that time that I know exactly what my girls' favorite colors are. I know exactly what their favorite ice cream is. I know what foods they don't like. I know when they're whining and how to say no. And I can see their life. I can spend time with my wife and know exactly everything about her. She's the same lovely bride I married 8 years ago. To me, because I'm there, I see her every day, so she doesn't look different suddenly. Wake up in the morning, who are you? No. I know exactly who she is. So my encouragement to you is to look at it the same way that the 300 did. What is your profession? And then grab it and take it. And never look back. That's what's beautiful about life and your position you're at right now. Okay?